that how we can what is the purpose of the stop method and destroy method and all those things. Clear? So we have done in so much detail regarding this subject, this particular topic, that is applet. And also we have one of this topic in this particular applet part, that is, and we have also discussed there are two methods, that either you can embed your that particular code, that is a applet code in your Java program itself, or you can create some another file. Okay, so in that particular file you can discuss that how you can just use that applet tag in your current program. Okay, now the next thing is that I hope you have implemented this applet program. So this is one of the most interesting topic of your this Java part. And now in this particular part, as you know that in the last lecture we have just displayed the applet version with the screen. Okay, so we have a name of that particular applet over there, and we have a particular title screen that we can use. And in this particular case, we have in this particular topic, we will discuss that how we can pass parameters to an applet. Okay, so what we mean by a parameter? Parameter means any value, any data that you need to pass to an applet. Okay, meanwhile we have just discussed what usually display after we use this applet tag. Okay, how we can develop this particular thing when we need to transfer from when we are transferring a particular web page from one location to the another part, and a particular applet code will be embedded into that particular part, and it will be used by the client part at the time of its at the particular time at which it will use that particular thing. Okay, so we will discuss over here that how we can pass some parameters to an applet, and how we can read those parameters in an applet. Okay, so that we can display their values in the output bar. So in order to pass the parameters to the applet, we will require a param attribute, or we can say that parameter attribute is there, which is one of your attribute of the applet tag. Okay, so in order to retrieve a parameter's value, what we do we use a get parameter method of the applet class. Okay, so in order to pass those values, we require a param attribute in the applet tag, and in order to retrieve that particular parameter value, retrieve matlab to display all those things, we require a get parameter method of the applet class. So here we are, in order to pass the values, we require applet tag, and in order to display all those values, we require a applet class. Okay, so in that particular applet class, we are using the get parameter. Now coming to the program, you can see over here, I hope you are clear with this particular thing. We have discussed in so much detail that why we require this comment section over here, because our compiler doesn't recognize all these tags over here. That is a tags related to the applet. But the applet viewer tool will recognize all these tags. Okay, so for this applet viewer, that applet viewer tool we use, we don't have any particular this. We don't have any particular meaning of this comment section. Okay, so what I discussed you earlier also, that we have a applet code, and what is this particular thing when we need to embed that particular applet code in a Java program. So this is the name of my applet, that is param1, and I am passing the width, I am defining the width and the height of that particular applet. Okay, so this is the name of my applet, the width and the height. Now what my program is that I need to pass the values. Okay, I need to pass the parameters. So what I will do, as you know that the what is the first step over here, that I will use the param attribute of the applet tag. So you will define this param attribute in your this applet tag. Okay, so this param attribute will contain two values. One is the name, and another part is the value part. And you can define the name. Like let's suppose I am giving the name Simran. I am giving the age 20, sports, cricket, food, anything you can pass all those values. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are in this particular pass, when you are using that param tag in your applet part, that means you are just passing the parameters to the applet portion. Clear? So we are passing all those values as a parameter to the applet. Now what we will do, we will, as you know that we need to extend this particular class, that we are extending this param 1, that is extending the applet class, which is a inbuilt class. Why we extend it? So that we can use all those methods that are available in your applet class. Okay, so what are the different methods we have? The like innate, destroy, stop, all these are the method that we have discussed earlier also. So what we do here over here, we will again all, we define all these things, that is name, age, sport, food and destination. All over all values that we are all names, or we can say that all identifier that we are using in this particular applet tag, we can define in this particular class over here. Okay, so what we do in the case of a public void init, okay, so init is used to initialize that particular values. Okay, so what we do, like in the case of this name, I am passing this value get name, oh sorry, get parameter, and I will pass this value. Here you can hear why we require this get parameter, to retrieve the parameters value. Okay, so why we require this get parameter here, to just retrieve the value that we have passed. Okay, so how it will retrieve that particular value? With the help of this particular string that we are passing. So it will match that particular string that you have already given in that you have already passed in your this applet tag over here. Okay, so we have this particular value. So here you can see that his name is there. Okay, so it will just compare that value of name with this particular part, name, age, food, fruit, destination, and all those. For all those things we need to use this get parameter method. Okay, so get parameter method, it is the part of your applet class. In which class you are here? You are in the applet class. How you came to know? Because we are extending it, that particular param 1 class, which is extending the applet class, so it will receive all those method that is available in your applet class. Clear? So get parameter is one of the method of your applet class, and you are defining that particular method in the init class. So what it will do, it will just refer to all those values that you are passing, all those parameters that you are passing in your applet tag. Finally, what you will do, you will use this another method, that is a paint method, that we have already discussed in the last lecture, that why we require this paint method, just to display all those values. Okay, so we are reading all those parameters to this particular part. Okay, so we have a name, age, and I am defining the, as you know that in the draw string part we require a string portion over here. Then we have that the size, we can say the width and the height, at which particular place it will display that particular thing. Okay, so we are just displaying the name, and it will retrieve that particular name from the above. Okay, so we can define all those things in this particular case. This is how we can pass the parameters portion. So again, for your reference, I will just tell you that always remember, when you need to pass parameters to an applet, you require two things. One is your one is your param attribute of your applet tag. Okay, applet tag. Always remember this, that when we need to pass the parameters to the applet, we require param attribute of the applet tag. Okay, and the another portion is that in order to retrieve the values, we require a get parameter method of the applet class. Okay, so these are the two things that we have defined through this particular program, and you can see over here that we have used. But the thing that you need to remember, that we are using param tag and applet tag, and we are using the get parameter method in this particular this particular applet class over here. So at here my applet class is param 1, because it is extending the applet class. Clear? So I just run this program, and you can see the output. We have java c param 1 dot java. So we have applet viewer param 1. Oh, I just missed some. So you can see this is the how we can display all those values. So you can see that after displaying, once you have passed all those values, you can just display all those values in your program. Okay, so both the things I have done through this applet part only, applet tag, by using the applet tag and by defining by using the get parameter method of the applet. So we are directly displaying the values through this applet portion. Clear? I hope this is clear to you. This is very simple concept. This is one of the topic that we need to just tell the student that how we can pass all those applets part. Okay, so how we can display, how can we can pass all those value, because meanwhile we have just discussed that how we can display that particular applet, what are the different methods that are available in the applet part. So this was one of the topic that we need to discuss, that if we want to display some values, if we want to pass some particular parameters, how we can use all those things. Clear? I hope this topic is clear to you. So you can kindly raise your hands if you are satisfied, so that because I need to start that particular swings part. But this was a topic I thought that I must discuss before starting with the new topic. Okay, okay, students. Thank you for your feedback. And second thing is that in this particular topic, we have while discussing that packages portion. Okay, there was some topic that I need to tell you, that is the assess specifier. Okay, so some students who have implemented all those things, they have might notice that particular topic of assess modifiers, as you know that. But I just need to tell you that, because usually when we have a classroom teaching, we discuss so many things in a casual way. We don't have all those proper that ppts and all that. So as you know that this is an online lecture, sometimes we miss there are things that we need to define in a proper format. So in Java we have a proper assess modifiers. So assess modifiers is what? That assess means that when you want to we use something. Okay, when you want to use some particular method of a particular class, when you want to use a particular method of a one another class. Okay, so in that case we have a assess modifiers over here. So why we require this assess modifiers? Just to define, just to specify the accessibility or a scope of a field, method, constructor or a class. So when we discuss this particular topic of accessibility, that means we need to assess something. Okay, we need to, we can say that, reference something, that how we can use all those things. Okay, so or we need to define the scope of that particular method, constructor or a class. Okay, so we can change the assess level of fields, constructor, methods or a class by applying the assess modifier on it. So this is one of the, just for your knowledge, just for your reference, that can help you while using all those, while defining the accessibility or while defining the scope of a particular field, method or a constructor. Okay, so in that case, especially this type of assess modifiers, no, undoubtedly we use this particular, require this assess modifier by defining any type of a program. Okay, but in this case also we can use this particular thing of assess modifiers when we are defining, when we are using something that are available in the different parts of the packages. Okay, so packages is one of the way in which we are assessing all those classes, methods of a of a same package or a different package or a sub package. So we have this assess modifier in this particular case. Now the next thing is that we have basically four types of SS modifier. I hope you will be this knowledge is quite informative to you, because meanwhile whatever the languages you have discussed so far, that we have discussed that private, protected and public only. But we have a one another part over here, that is the default portion over here. Okay, so default also act your one of your SS modifier. So private is what? Private is that particular thing which is assessed only within the class. It cannot be assessed outside the class. This is the higher, we can say, that security if you want to give to a particular method, class or anything. Okay, so it will be assessed within the class only. Similarly, we have a default also. So the assess level of a default more or is within the package only. It cannot be assessed from the outside the package. So if you do not specify any assess level, it will be default. This thing you must note, clear must clear in your mind, that if you are not defining any type of SS specifier, then as in the case of a C++ and C, we usually say that particular thing is public. But in this case, or a C++, we have a different, that is private or a public default this level. But in case of a Java, we use a particular default. There is a, if we don't specify any of the SS level, it will be default. Okay, so default itself is also a SS specifier. Okay, next we have that protected part over. So protected part is that the access level of this protected modifier is within the package and outside the package through child class. So protected, you know, that we use in case we are inheriting some particular class. So we, in the case of a Java, as you know, that every class belong to some particular package. Okay, so we can use that particular protective if we are defining anything protected. That means we are using that particular part within the package and outside the package through the child class over here. So if we don't have any child class, we cannot be accessed from any outside that particular package. Similarly, we have a public part also, that is a access level of a public modifier is everywhere. So public can be accessed anywhere, either within the class, either outside the class, either within the package or outside the package. So it doesn't require any child class to inherit that particular thing. It can be accessed anywhere. Clear? So this is one of the sometimes in 2 marks question, or sometime like as a statement, it can be asked to you that what are the different assess modifiers we have. So by default, if we are not mentioning any of the assess modifier, so which assess modifier we will be using, that will be the default. This is the only point that you must keep note in your mind, that if we don't specify any of the assess level, it will be default. Clear? So you can see this chart over here. This is a simple chart that we have assessed modifier and we are defining, because in any type of a program, in any type of a project, we must be having a class also. That class will belong to some package also, and there could be a situation where we are using that particular thing outside package also. Okay, and outside package by subclass, and outside package that is without the subclass. So we have a private. So private is accessed within the class and it is not accessible outside anywhere. Either it is a package outside package by subclass, or a simple, you are defining that particular thing outside. Similarly, we have a default. So default is accessed within a package, within a class, and within the package also. Okay, so it is not accessible by a subclass only or by the outside. Protected is such type of a thing that is accessible within the class, within the package, and outside the package by subclass, because we require a child class. If a class is having some particular child class, so with the help of that child class we can access that particular protected part. Okay, so it is not accessible outside the package. So all the above three package access modifiers, that is private, default, and protected, are not accessible outside the package. This is only the public access specifier that is accessed outside the package, and it is accessible in every part. Either you are defining that particular thing within the class, within the package, or outside the package. Why I am so this was all about access specifier. Why I need to tell you all these things, because as you are now proceeding towards your this particular project making part, I will discuss all those project in the end of this session. But the thing is that when you will be making all those project, at that time you will be using some different packages, different class. So this thing must be clear in your mind, that I can assess which particular thing within that particular class, outside that class, outside that package, within that package, or through that child class. Clear? So just notice, just keep this diagram, just keep this particular diagram in your mind, and obviously it will help you a lot while making your project portion. Is it clear? I hope this thing is quite easy, and it is just for your information that we need to tell you. So if you are clear with this particular thing, I can start with the swings topic, because we have already discussed this thing. So kindly raise your hand if you are satisfied with this particular topic, so that I can start with the topic of a swings portion over here. Okay, bache, thank you very much. Okay, now I will start with the swings part over here. Okay, students, today we will start with another part, that is a swings. Okay, so what basically a swing is? So I hope you are some of the students who have done this Java in previously in your projects also or in your training. They are must be familiar with this particular term. But though, for those students who are just new to this particular language, so this topic of swings is quite important and it is very very interesting topic. Okay, so what we require is swing. So basically, if we talk about the Java language, okay, so we always say in the starting also when we have discussed the features of this Java language, that Java is a, we can say that it provides it, or we can say that we can say that it satisfy the working of, or it help you to make your this particular environment as a GUI environment. Okay, so what is that GUI environment in which you are having that, in which you can create graphical user interfaces? Okay, so graphical user interfaces means that graphical means when we are following different tools to just highlight, just to use all those things on a screen in order to develop the front end of any project or a program. Okay, so we have a different GUI components over here, like we have a GUI objects over here, like we have buttons, scroll bars and windows. Okay, so all these things are the part of your this particular graphical user interface, and it is supported by, we can say that this is supported by this concept of a swings over here. So we can say that before discussing the swing portion, there are two, three things that you must keep in your mind. That we have a AWT over here, that is Abstract Window Toolkit. Okay, so Abstract Window Toolkit is there, and we have a different APIs that is required. APIs, I hope you are clear with this term API, that is Application Program Interfaces. Now, what is this application program interfaces? That include different classes, that include different methods, and that include different packages. Okay, and this API used by a particular Java programmer to create graphical user interface object. Okay, so we are developing a GUI screen with the help of a AWT. What is that AWT? That is Abstract Window Toolkit. Okay, so abstract is what? That you know that in the case of this particular Java language, we have discussed this abstract method also. That we will provide, we have a different set of methods that are implemented by some different other classes. So abstract is for the abstraction. Abstraction is what? When we are not concerned about the implementation details, we just concerned with that how that particular thing will work. Okay, so we will discuss that how we are not concerned about the implementation part, but we just want that we need to implement that particular thing. Okay, so in that particular case, we use the concept of a abstract window toolkit. Okay, so it is a set of a application program interfaces that is used by Java programmers to create a graphical user interface object, such as buttons, scroll bars, and the windows. Okay, so further, so we have a three things that we must understand. One is your AWT, that is Abstract Window Toolkit. This Abstract Window Toolkit will contain your APIs. Okay, so this Abstract Window Toolkit will contain your APIs, that is a application programming interface. Okay, application program interface that is used to develop the GUI or window based application. Okay, so AWT, further this AWT is further part of your Java foundation classes. Okay, so what is that Java foundation classes? This is a graphical framework that is required to build the graphical user interfaces. Java foundation classes are the graphical framework. So framework means that contains all those things that we need to develop a particular program, that we need to develop a particular project. Okay, so all those things that we require, that is with the help of a JFC. So we have a JFC. JFC consists of AWT. AWT consists of APIs. This APIs will help you to develop the all those things that we require for the GUI environment. Clear? I just again repeat, we have JFC, that is Java Foundation classes. This Java Foundation classes will have that AWT, that is Abstract Window Toolkit. AWT will have APIs. All these APIs will help Java programmers to create the GUI object. Okay, so AWT components are platform dependent because they are platform dependent, and we use a java.awt package for this particular case. Clear? So we have this particular angle. We can see over here that we have a particular object. As you know, that object is the, we can say that super class of all those things that we use in stuff. So from this object, we are developing a component, and from this component, we are using this container and the J component part. Okay, so this J component part is consist of all those things, that is a J label, J list, J table, J comma box, and all those things. Okay, so in brief, we can say that we have a rich set of libraries to create GUI. Okay, so Swings is what? Swings is also one of the rich set of a library that is used to create a GUI. So Swing API is set of extensible GUI component that is used by the developer, okay, to create a Java based front end or GUI application. So just remember, as you are proceeding towards your this project portion, you will be using this Swings API in order to develop the front end or the GUI application. Okay, so we have a we can say that we have discussed all those things, that how we can use this AWT and API. So we extend all those classes, okay, and we will can provide all those features that is in the derived class, that is through the concept of a Swings portion. Okay, so Swing portion is the part of your extended library. Okay, so Swing portion is a part of your extended library. So that's why, as you know, that we have defined that java.awt package. Okay, but when we are using this particular part of the extended library means that it contains some of the extensible features. Okay, so some of the features that we have extended, that is with the help of the Swings portion. For this particular part, we use Java X dot swing dot star. So what we use Java X dot swing dot star over here. So this thing will be more clear when we start making program. Okay, so swings are built upon top of AWT API. Okay, or we can say that swings are replacement of that AWT API, because it has almost every control that is being in the AWT. Okay, so don't get confused. There are two things. One is the AWT, that is Abstract Window Toolkit. Okay, but nowadays we use the concept of a swings. Why so? Because swings are the extended version of your this Java part. So, or we can say that swings are almost that contains everything that particular AWT is having. So, why we prefer swings if we have AWT only? Because swing is a lightweight and it offers rich controls and highly it is customizable. Okay, so in this portion of your diagram is your under the swings part only. Okay, so we have a container like over here. From that container we can develop window, panel, applet is part of your panel. Okay, we have a frame and the dialog box. So you can see over here that window is also a container. Okay, but it has no border or a menu bar will be there. Similarly, we have a panel that will not have a title bar or a menu bar. Okay, so example, a button, that is also the part of a this your panel portion. We have a frame that will contain a title bar and a menu bar buttons. So title bar, menu bar, buttons, text field, everything you can embed in that particular frame portion. Okay, so we sometimes we define that panel also a pop-up window also. So container is what? Container is the main, we can say that class, that it is a component that can contains other components. So it's like we have a button, text field, etc. Okay, so what is a container class? That will contain everything. Okay, so classes that extend the container class are frame, dialog, and panel are known as a container. So anything that will extend this particular container class will itself be a container. Okay, so that container is a part of your component also. Clear? So these are the two three things that you must remember regarding that swings. Like we have a swings and we have a different user interface elements. But when we are using the concept of a swings, always remember we use it this J uh, alphabet with that particular thing. Like we have a J label, J list, J table. Okay, so all these things are the part of a your swings motion. Okay, so when you are defining anything, when you are defining any component with the letter J, that means that is the part of a swing, and swing is nothing, this is just the extension of your AWT, that is abstract window toolkit. But it will have some rich set of we can say that it has some rich set of methods, or we can say that it is some offering some extended library to this your AWT part. Okay, so when we are using swings, automatically you are using the AWT part also. Clear? So first of all, here we will discuss that what are the how we can create a this particular. So I have just made this program, but still I need to tell you. I just define you step by step so that it will be clear to you that how we can develop all those things. Okay. So you are, we will start with this particular thing that how we will start with the J frame portion. Okay. So first of all, we will discuss that how we can create a J frame part. Okay. So we will first discuss that how we can create a J frame part. Okay. So there are two methods to create a JFrame. One is your inside the main method. Okay, so one method is that you are using that particular thing inside the main method. Okay, so another method is that we can extend the JFrame class. So we will discuss both the methods with the help of a program. Now let's suppose I am using the first method in which I need to develop that particular JFrame, okay, by within the main method only. So first of all, if you are using the swing part, you need to import that particular file over here. So we will be using that import java x dot swing dot star. Clear? So this is the first package you need to import in order to use the concept of a swings over here. Next is that we have public class. Okay, let's suppose this is S1. This is my first swing over here that I am using. Okay, S1, and I will define. So the first method is that in order to make, because everything comes under a frame. Okay, so everything comes under a frame. So what we will do, we will just first see that how we can develop this particular frame portion over here, so that we can use all those components, in this particular part. So first of all, what we will do, that we will see that how we can make that particular frame. Okay, so what we do over here, I just developed the class that is a S1, and in first method was inside the main method. So I am using public static void main, and in this particular part I will be using, this is the string argument, and the first method in which I am just creating the object of my JFrame class, because this program is related that how we can develop a frame over here. So what we'll do, we just write JFrame which is already inbuilt. I will create the object of this particular JFrame class, and it will be equal to new JFrame. Okay, so it will be equal to new JFrame over here. So let's suppose I don't write anything over here. Okay, so this is my class. I'm saving this program. You just, so we have the name as s1 dot java. Okay, so this is in the swing part over here. So I just run this program. So we have Java C S1 dot Java. Sorry, I am in W1. I have to change my folder, that is swings. Okay, so I just run this part over here. So we have a Java C, we have S1 dot Java. Okay, okay. So you can see I have compiled this particular program. Now when I will run this part, Java S1. So nothing is displayed. Okay, हमारा program, we have compiled the program also and we have run the program also, but there is nothing to display on that particular part. Okay, now let's suppose I need to add some visibility over here. Okay, so we can see that I just need to see the visibility of my frame because I have enabled that particular thing. So what I will do, I will use over here, that is F1 is my object. So I will use F1 dot set visible, set visible. Okay, so I will enable this visible portion as true. So there could be some situation in which you don't want to see that particular screen, okay, to the front part, so you can make this visible as false also. Okay, so let's suppose again I will just save this program. So I am using set visible just to make, just to display, or just to see my output. But you can see what output we will be having over here. So I will be using, we have Java C. Again I will compile this program. Okay, so again I will run this program. Now see, you can see this output. Okay, why this type of a output is there? Because we are not using any type of a dimension over here. Okay, so you can see over here, like this output is there, but we haven't specified any type of a dimension. So this is also the part of your this swing portion that like you are displaying, this is your frame. Okay, this is your frame. What is your frame? That is contains your title bar. Okay, so that will define you all those coordinates. But in the first look, when you have run this program, okay, so you cannot display that particular thing in a proper dimension. Why so? Because we haven't mentioned any type of a dimension for this particular thing. Clear? Now what will happen? Let's suppose I just cross this button. Okay, so you see that I have pressed the cross button, but my program has not been ended because there is no cursor. We don't have a command prompt over here. That means my program is not ended so far. Okay, so for this particular case, what we will do, that we will define this particular, we need to define that particular close operation over here. Clear? So I have closed my that particular this frame part, but still my program hasn't been ended. Why so? Because I need to add some line over here. that is f1 dot set default. This is one of the another method. Set default close operation. Close operation. Okay, so that is j frame. We will use this class and we will assess one of its method, that is exit underscore on close. Okay, so why we are using this particular method, because this dot operator over here, because this is one of your this static method of this your jframe class. Okay, so in order to assess your static method, you need to define with a dot operator. Clear? So let's suppose I have saved this one. So why we have added this particular thing, that is set default close operation, just to end my operation at with the screen only. Okay, so previously now you see my program hasn't ended over here. So what I will do over here, I have to close my this command prompt, and again I will start with this particular thing. Okay, so we have cd. I just move to my particular folder version. So I just again run this program, that is Java C. I hope I have saved this program. So Java C S1 dot Java. Clear? Now I run this program. So I just write Java S1. See, again you can see the frame, but still I haven't mentioned any type of a dimensions over here. So that's a screen. Now I will close from this button. See, now you can see this particular that my program has been ended, and again a new prompt has been given to me. Clear? So visible, why we have used the set visible, just to make my frame visible on the screen, and why I am using the set default close operation, just to define that to close my program with the help of that cross button on the frame. Now the next part is that I need to define the size of my frame also, because I cannot, I don't want to just extend my frame again and again. So I will just define my size of my screen. So I will use f1 dot set size. Let's suppose I just use the same dimension. I want a square frame over here. So I'm using 300 like this. Okay, so this is your height, width, and the height you can use over here. So I am using the same size, so my screen should be displayed in the form of a square frame should it be displayed. Okay, so I am using that particular size. So again I just save this part and I will run this program. So you can see over here. Okay, so again I run this program after the compilation part. See, now your screen is there. But you can see over here, I have given the dimension like 300 by 300. Why exactly my screen is not like that? Okay, my frame is not like that. Why so? Because you can see the frame, everything that we are designing. Okay, that is according to the screen of our this particular part of your computer system. So what will happen, that whatever the screen we are mentioning, because it is dependent on this particular computer screen. So you can see my width is more for this particular my system, and height is less over here. So vertical pixel are more over here, and the horizontal pixel has less gap. So we can see over here that vertical pixel have more gap and the horizontal pixel have less gap. So whatever the dimension we are passing, that will work according to the dimension of our screen. Okay, so all those things are working according to the dimension of my this main computer screen. So that's why my screen is not according to my dimension, but it will relate to the dimension of my computer system also, in which we can say that we have that my height pixel gap is more, or we can say that we the vertical pixel gap is more as compared to the horizontal pixel gap. Okay, so we have a more gap in the vertical part, vertical pixel range, and the compared to the horizontal pixel. So that's why whatever the size will be, just confront with your the main size of your screen, so that it could be placed according to the size of the system. Clear? So this is how we can pass that this particular. Now you can see my screen is fine over here. I can close my screen also, but I haven't given any name to my this particular frame. Okay, so how we can pass a frame over here? We can use this concept that we can set the title of our frame by by passing a value as a constructor in the JFrame part. So we can see over here that I will use this particular thing. Like in this particular case, I just mentioned the name of or the title of my part, swing 1. I just mentioned the name swing 1 over here. Okay, so this is the way that how I can pass this particular screen over here. So I just close the screen to just see the output of this particular case. And now you can see that in order to use that title, I can pass my title name through as a constructor of the JFrame. Okay, and so that I can pass it as a string over here by using the constructor of a JFrame. So we, as you can see over here, that again I will run this program. I first compile this program because I have changed some data on it. Okay, now I run this program. See, okay, you can see the title over here. Okay, so you can see the title over here. So this is how we can use this particular. Clear? So this is the first method. In the first method, what we are doing, we are just defining our frame in the main method. Okay, so we are defining the J frame under the main method, and we are directly using the object of this J frame method like F1 over here to assess all those methods that are available in my J frame. Clear? So this is our first method. Now we will discuss the second method over here. In this second method, what we will do, we will use some particular class that will extend that particular JFrame class. Okay, so what we are doing over here in this second method, we are using a class that will extend that JFrame. Okay, so JFrame is what? That is a container. So what will happen, that any class that will extend that particular JFrame container will also act as a container. Okay, because it is extending that particular parent class, so it is acting as a child class to it. Okay, so that child class object can call parent class object. So child class object can access all those methods that are available with the parent class. Okay, so we will discuss the second method over here, like how we can define that particular thing, that we will use a that how we can define another method in which we are extending the JFrame class. So again, the code is same. I just uh, uh, save that particular code over here. I just take this example, or I just write it again for your reference. So what I will do, I just use import again. I will import java x dot swing dot star over here. Clear? So again, now the thing is, now the second method is that I am using public class s2 extends j frame. Okay, so this is the second method in which I am creating a class, a subclass of this jframe. Now jframe is a container over here. So when any class that will extend that particular container will itself become a container over here. So in this particular example, it is not mandatory that you need to create the object of this jframe class. You can directly create the object of this particular class and can access all those methods that are available in this jframe container. Clear? So we have a public s2. Okay, I will mention all this term afterwards. Before that, I use this public static void in. Okay, so I am using this string argument. I'm passing this string arguments over here. So everything till now, everything will be same as we have discussed in your previous this example. So what we discuss over here, like I just make now. What is the change over here? As you know that I have extended this particular JFrame container. So now what can happen? I can directly create the object of this particular child class. No, now I will not use that JFrame class over here. I will just use the class that is extending that particular JFrame. Okay. So what I am doing, S2 F1. What is this? S2 is the name of my class and F1 is the object of that particular class. So equal to new S2. This is the name of my class. Okay. So as you know that I can mention my title here also. So I'm passing this particular swing to this part. Okay. Again I will define F1 dot set size. Okay, so rest of the program is same. I am just defining you that what is the different method to use that particular thing. F1 dot set visible. Again I have to show it as true so that I can see my screen on the on my this particular window. Okay, so that I can see my frame. And third is the F1 dot set default operation. Okay, so I have a set default close operation. Sorry, we have a close word also here, close operation. And we will mention this j frame dot exit on close. Clear? So you can see over here now. Now this is the second method only, that in which we are defining a particular class. You can use either of the way. It's not mandatory that you have to use the first method or the second method. It is up to you that how you can use this particular. Clear? Clear? Now what do you think that output will be there if we are using this particular class? So you can use this particular thing that that if we am passing like this value, so my output will be there. Now let's suppose I just save this program, control S. So I have S2 dot Java. So let's suppose I have saved this particular program also. Now I just run this program. Now what do you think, according to your knowledge, this program will give you some output or not? because you have used one of the class that is extending the JFrame class. So let's run it and see what will happen over here, that I am using this s2 dot java. See, there is an error because we are passing some constructor, okay, that is not being used by this. In the previous case, what was happening, that we were directly using that JFrame class. Okay, so that JFrame constructor was directly implementing on this particular. But and here we are using some another class. Okay, so that class is extending the JFrame class. No doubt it can has full right to access all those methods, but we have to define them explicitly. Okay, so how we can write like this? We can use like in order to define, as you know that if we don't define any type of a constructor, so by default when we create that particular class over here, by default there is a default constructor. Okay, but in this particular case we are passing this value as a constructor. So what we do, we have to define that particular thing in the form of a constructor. So what we are doing over here, we can write public, another part is your s2, okay, and we have a string. Now let's suppose any string that we need to pass over here, because we are passing it as a string value, that is a string 2. So we need to pass this as a parameterized constructor, and we can write like this, super s. Okay, so what it means, that this particular string super means that can access all those methods or the constructor that are available in its super class. So which is my super class in this particular case, that is my JFrame class. Okay, so this is the case when you can use this particular part also. Okay, so when you are extending your particular class, okay, so what you can do over here, that explicitly when you are defining a class that is extending the JFrame class, you need to define a constructor over here. Why so? Because when you are defining that particular constructor, okay, so you need to pass all those values, so that in order to assess that particular. So need of a constructor is there when you need to define the string type value. Okay. So by default it will take the parent class as a default constructor. Okay. So it will have now we can assess, we can call all those JFrame constructor by using this particular value, that is the super. So what will happen, that it takes constructor and it will pass to the constructor of the JFrame. Now you see when you will implement this particular case, what will happen? Again, I will run this program. See, now there is no type of error over here. And when I will run this program, see, you can see that window over here. Clear? So why we need a constructor over here? Because we are defining that particular class that is extending the JFrame class. So we have to define the particular parameterized constructor over here. Clear? So this is regarding that how we can pass, and sometime we need to overload the constructor also, because we don't have any default constructor, because we have already mentioned one of the parameterized constructor. So there could be a case where you need to define the particular default constructor over here. So you can define that particular thing by simply writing like this. Like you can write, this is up to you that how we can write public s2. Again, this is your constructor. This is your default constructor. You just leave the body empty over here. Okay, so simply there will be no change. You can simply mention the default constructor over here, because there could be some situation in which you are using that particular thing. Okay, so you can define that particular thing. Like now let's suppose I don't pass any of the values. ठीक है. मैं कोई I am not giving any of the title values over here. ठीक है. So what will happen now? ठीक है. I just compile this program. So I just write Java cs dot Java. Okay. So when I will run this program, see, no title has been. So at that time, your this constructor will be passed over here. Clear? So this was all about that how we can use this concept of this frame, how we can create this particular frame. Clear? So I think we have done so many things, we have discussed so many things. Now you can take a break also, and after that we will set a particular screen. Okay, so we will set one screen, and I don't think so I need to complete that event handling topic also, but as we just start with that particular topic, and then either through that video or your this next lecture we will discuss all those things. Clear? So I just share one. I hope you are clear with these terms, students. Can you just raise your hands if you are this topic is clear to you? This is quite interesting topic. So I just wanted to discuss all this topic in a very slow pace so that you can understand all those concepts that why we require all those things. Okay, so okay, thank you very much for your response. We have meanwhile we have just discussed two of the things, that how we can discuss create a frame over here. So we have discussed two methods. So either through directly using that JFrame container, or we can extend that particular JFrame. Okay, so when we are directly using the JFrame container, we can directly create the object of that particular part, and we can see that particular thing, that how we can use that all those things. Okay, or we can extend that. Then we have to use the concept of a constructor just to tell that which particular part is being, which particular, how we can pass all those values using this S2 class. Clear? So I just share with you one poll, the very first poll, and after that we will discuss another topic. Okay. So I'm launching the first poll. Okay, students, I'm going to end the poll. And I'm sharing with you the results. Okay, the first abbreviation part is the abstract windowing toolkit. Okay, so second option is the right one. So don't get confused. Sometimes students usually consider this as a applet windowing toolkit, but it is abstract windowing toolkit. Second is that there are two ways to use to create a frame. So obviously, yeah, as you are listening my lecture, so we have discussed both the method with the help of a program. So we have creating the object of a frame class, or we can extend the frame class. Clear? So both these methods are the right one. So the answer is true over here. Clear? So I will share with you the another poll. Okay, I think I will discuss this another poll after the completion of the next topic, uh, because it will be implemented only after when we complete that particular thing. Okay, there is one another question. I will launch this particular poll so that we just complete these two polls. Okay, so you just give your answer regarding your knowledge, that what basically answer for this particular question could be there. Clear? like a do तुम कर लो अपने फॉर्मेलिटीज, फिर मैं मिलती हूँ तुम्हें 11:30 बजे. Okay, students, I am going to end this poll. Okay, so we have to define the class which is used to represent GUI application window. Okay, so which is optional resizable, can have a title bar, icon, and menu. So this is frame only. Okay, so this is the frame part only that we can define as this particular case in which we can define that all these things. Okay, Okay, students, before moving further, now there is another part. Now let's suppose, now in this case, uh, so I just shared the results with you that most of the students have given the frame answer. Okay, so now I will discuss with you. I just develop one particular frame with you. Okay. So meanwhile, we have just discussed a small frame in which we have just a title and all those things. Okay. So in this particular case, now I will discuss. Now let's suppose I need to develop this particular frame. Now this thing can help you in your projects also. So all these things are the notes. You can discuss it after. You can collect this afterwards. Now let's suppose this is the screen. Okay. So you can see over here that this is the screen that I am talking about. That I need to develop this particular frame. Okay, with this particular title. Okay. So we have this addition of a numbers over here. Okay, and this is the first number, second number, and in the end we need to add both the numbers. Now what do you think, this particular frame consists of which particular part? Okay, so what are the different components, or we can say that what are the different components that we are that in this particular screen, that this screen consists of which particular components? So we can see over here the like addition of, this is one of your title that you need to pass. Okay, the another thing is that addition of two number, this is one of your label. Okay, second one this is your first number, this is your another label. So we have two labels so far. Second number, this is your third label. So this particular frame is consisting of three labels. You just listen to this carefully, because this type of screens you will be using, this type of screen you will be using in your projects also. Okay, so you can see over here that we have a three labels over here. One is your addition, second one is your first number, third one is your second number. Now these two are the text boxes. Why these are the boxes? Because you can insert some values over here. Okay, so how many text boxes you are using? That is T1 and T2. Clear? Next is your add button over here. In this particular this is your add bar. Now this is the button. Now what will happen when you will click this particular button? You will get the values like sum is like this. So again you are having some another label over here. So meanwhile we have three labels are being visible, and fourth label will be available when you will click this particular button, that is add button. Okay, so this particular screen consists of four labels. Three labels are visible and one label will be visible when you will click this particular add button over here. Clear? So you are using this particular add button over here, and when you will press this add button you will get sum is, or any line you want to add on. So that will be your fourth label. So this particular frame consists of four labels, two text boxes, and one button. Clear? So all these things you are mentioning in your this particular frame. Now the second part is that what, how you can design this particular thing. Okay, so what we will do, we will just see that we can just develop this particular screen over here. Again the concept will remains the same that we have discussed in that S1 and S2 part over. Okay, so we will see that how we can develop. I just try to write that particular program, and if something happen, some prompt is there, so I can directly run that program also. But this is just for your reference, that so that you can understand all those concepts easily. So we have import java x dot swing dot star. Clear? So this is the file we need to import when we use the that GUI screen on our system. So we have a public class swing add, or we can give the name as add over here. Okay, So we have add, and it will extend the frame class. Okay, so that we have already discussed in the previous part. So we are discussing the second part over here. Public class add extends J frame. Okay, so we have extended that particular class over here. Then how many labels? We will use J label over here, and we are using total 4 label. 3 labels are visible and 1 label will come after when you will add that particular button, when you will press that particular button, that is add. Okay, so this is L4. Okay, so we have 2 text field over here. Okay, so this topic is important as you will be doing your programs also, the projects also. So we have a text field. How many text fields were there? T1, T1, comma T2. Okay, so we have a J button. So one was, now these are all those components that I want to be displayed on my screen. So I'm using B1 dot. Clear? So as you know that I will be passing some value through my constructor, but I am using the child class of that particular JFrame. Okay, so I need to pass all those value like this. Add, this is the simple default constructor that I can use. Okay, and we can have public add, and I will pass the string as I need to show that string as a title on my frame. So I am using string s. Okay, so this is same as that, and I will use that super keyword just to assess my all those methods of the parent class. Clear? Now the main part will start from here. Now what I want, now let's suppose I just discussed that I need to define all those components. ठीक है, so हम क्या करेंगे, in my public static void main. Okay, so I will be passing that string arguments over here. Okay, so we have a add class which is extending that particular JFrame class or a JFrame class. Okay, so what I am doing, I am using the object of my current class, child class, which is also the part of my JFrame class, because it is extending that particular part over here. So let's suppose I am using add. I just give the title add through any title you can give, swings. You can pass any type of a string over here. ठीक है, so ये भी हो गया हमारे पास. So meanwhile we have just discussed that how we can use that particular thing. Now what I need to pass over here, now let's suppose I just use that particular thing, that is f1. I just design my screen f1 dot set size. ठीक है, पहला क्या है हमारे पास, स्क्रीन को सेट करना. So I use set size over here, and I am passing the value like this, that will define my height and the width over here. ठीक है, ये मैंने string set कर ली. Sorry, I have set my size of my that particular frame. ठीक है, next is that I need to show that particular frame on my screen. So I will be using set visible over here. ठीक है, so I will set its value true. ठीक है, so that it should be visible on my screen. Next is I need to cancel my screen through the close button. So I will be using set default close operation. Okay, so I will be using that jframe dot exit on close. Okay, so I will be using all those things and I just close my main method over here. Okay, now what I want over this particular thing, uh, I just need to define all those methods. ये जो methods when I need to sorry define all those components that I am using on my screen. तो अब इसमें क्या होगा मेरे पास that I need to define all those components on my screen. तो मैं क्या करती हूँ एक मैं component नाम का एक I just take the method as a component. तो मैंने क्या लिया public void component. ठीक है सो आई एम यूजिंग लेट्स सपोज मैंने ऐसे नाम दे दिया कंपोनेंट दे दिया ठीक है सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द मेथड नाउ व्हाट दिस मेथड विल डू इट विल डिफाइन ऑल दोज कंपोनेंट्स दैट यू वांट टू डिस्प्ले ऑन योर स्क्रीन तो मैं क्या हमारे पास कितने कंपोनेंट्स हैं 3 4 5 6 and 7 सो आई एम डिफाइनिंग ऑल दिस 7 कंपोनेंट्स ठीक है बिकॉज आई वांट टू डिस्प्ले ऑल दोस कंपोनेंट्स ऑन माय स्क्रीन लाइक दिस ठीक है मुझे अब ये स्क्रीन पे डिस्प्ले भी तो कराने हैं ना सारे फंक्शन लाइक बिफोर दैट आई जस्ट रन दिस प्रोग्राम सो दैट यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दिस कंसेप्ट लाइक एक्सटेंड है so before moving further I just use add dot java ठीक है तो आपको आगे चलने से पहले I just tell you कि how my screen will look like this so I am using star ठीक है सो देखते हैं कि स्क्रीन कैसे दिखेगी हमारे पास ओके सो व्हेन यू आर डिफाइनिंग ऑल दोस थिंग्स so we have java c add dot java okay I missed something here so I again exit I think I haven't saved that program jframe exit on close I'm missing something so the spelling is right over here that is set default set size set visible is fine this is also fine that is jframe dot exit on close okay so everything is fine then why this error is coming Okay, I just defined that particular component class. I will see why this error is coming. uh, I think I'm missing something. So meanwhile, I need to just define all those things. Okay, so there is another class over here. Mm, yes, Aditya.
मैं आपने क्लोज के स्पेलिंग गलत लिखे हैं, स्मॉल लेटर में एल डाला है।
Oh, sorry, sorry. Thank you. Okay, I just skip all those things. Thank you, Aditya. Okay, now I can see this Java C add dot. Thank you, Aditya. So I just run this program, and you can see. Okay, this is the simple screen, but what we want, a screen should be visible like this only. Okay, for this part what we require, we need to add all those components. ठीक है, तो हम क्या करेंगे for that particular thing. I just take another method over here, that is a component. Through with the help of this particular method, what I will do, I just adjust all my labels, all my components on the screen. So मैं क्या करूँगी, I just take L1 that I am mentioning over here, that is equal to new J label addition of two numbers. So this was my, if you just see this screen, I just uh, set my screen so that you can see all those things side by side. So what I want, I'm just adding addition of two numbers. Okay, so I just pass this value like this. I have to define the first label like this. So this is my first label. Second is that L2 equal to new J label first number. Okay, that is L3 equal to new J label second number. Okay, so these are the labels that I am setting on my screen. Second number. Okay, and L4 is when you will get the label 4. What I told you earlier, that when I will click this add button, you will get the value like this, like the sum of two number is, or the total is, whatever you like. Because but in this particular case, now I am not displaying anything. Why so? Because this operation is the different part that we will discuss in the next session, in which we will handle all those values. But meanwhile, I just define this label with no value, like new J label. Okay, I will just set the parameters empty. Why so? Because this label will come after when you will click this add button. That is the another part of this swings motion, and that we will discuss later on. Okay, so next is the T1. Now we are done with this label portion. Now we will come to the T part. That is the text field over here. So we have T1 equal to new text field. Sorry, this is J text field. Okay, so we are using this J text field over here, that is T2 equal to new J text field. So we don't have to give the value of that text field, that will be received by the system at the time when user will press some data. Okay, so now the last thing that we are left with is that the button part. So we have B1 equal to new j button equal, that is add. I'm displaying this value as a add over here. Okay, clear? Now you can see what will happen. Now just we will just check it. Okay, when I will use this particular form, what will happen? Again I will run this screen. Now according to us that we are mentioning all those components on the screen. Now will something will be displayed on that part? So we can have that Java C. So when you write some programs, always um, there is a chance of an error. Okay, so when I will run this program, so we have a Java add. So still we are not getting anything on the screen. Okay, so we have defined the component, but still we are not getting anything on the screen. Why so? Because we need to set all those things. तो हमने क्या किया? In this case, you can see over here, I just add all those component. I'm using add L1, okay, add L2, okay. Then is I'm adding like two labels are there. Then there was a text box, add T1, ठीक है. So how I am seeing my screen like this, L1, L2, T1, ठीक है. So this is your T1. Again we have add L3, add L3, and after that we have L3 is what? This is your label 3. We have a text box, add T1, okay. Sorry, T2 is there, that is the second text box, ठीक है. And after that we have a add B1. Second text box is also added. Then we have a button over here, that is B1. And the last one is the label. What I told you that when I will click this button, there will be a display of a particular label showing that the sum is this. Okay. So this thing. Now what do you think that output will be there? Again we just check it. Okay, we just see this, hope so. Okay, everything is fine, and I just run this program. First I will compile. Okay, so I just run this program. See, screen is there, but there is no proper formatting. Okay, so you just see it again, like, okay, there was something displayed, but you cannot see them equally on that screen. Okay, so again what we have to do, we have to mention the proper layout for that screen. I hope you are clear with this term layouts. Okay, so meanwhile we have a topic of layout also, but meanwhile for my components in this particular screen, I will set my layout as null, and I will define all those layout. Set layout null, ठीक है. Why so? Because I will add my layout for each component, ठीक है. तो ये सारे चीजें what I will do, I will set all those layouts one by one. So I just I think that I have already done this program, so I just copy all those things and tell you so that it will save our time. So in this layout, I will tell you that what is the meaning of all those things. So we have a set bounds method over here. Now what is the set bound method? That will tell you to fix which component at which place. Now you see, usually we have two things, that is width and a height. Okay, but at here position we have another two fields over here that will tell you the left portion and the top portion. Okay, now when I am defining like this 50 comma 50, your 50 is the left portion. So your this particular line for L1, what is your L1? Addition of two numbers. So 50 is like this, that 50 is like from the left, this is your left part. Okay, and this is 50 is your top, this will be your top portion. Clear? And for this particular part 200 is your, that is your width, and this 20 portion will be your height. Okay, so everything is in the pixel format. Okay, so you are using the pixel value of your screen. Clear? So we use set bounds over here. Okay, but we can see that when we are using this, if I use the set layout null, that means again my screen will not be visible with all those components. If I am displaying my layout as a null value, then I have to set my bound screen over there. ठीक है, तो मैं कैसे करूंगी? सेट बाउंड 50 50 220. ठीक है, तो ये हो गया ना सारा L1 L2. अब देखो अगला, यू कैन सी द नेक्स्ट लेबल ओवर हियर, 50 इज द सेम. ठीक है, that 50 is this particular part, that is the left portion. 80 is your, the distance between these two, or the, we can say that I have taken 30 more pixel from this particular part. So total is 80 and 30 is above this, because earlier it was 50 for this L1 portion. Similarly we have a text box over here, that is a 150. So now this is the 150 total distance, we can say that. Okay, so 150 from the left and 80 from the top. Okay, 80 from the top and 150 from the left. Similarly L3, this was your L1 L2 L3. Again L3 way you can see over here 50 from the left. Okay, so we have again used that 50 so that it should come in the same coordinate. 50 from the left, 130 from the top. And this is the size of my, this is the height of my this particular label. We can say the width is, second number is 100 and the height is 20. Okay, so usually I have kept the height of all those components as the same will, so that I can get the same text, we can say that same text format for everyone. Okay, so similarly L4 is not still visible, but we have set all those components over here. Clear? So this is the functioning, that why we require this set bounds. So set bounds may always remember that the first field refer to the pixel from the left, this part. Okay, second field will depend pixel from the top. Okay, third field is the text size. Okay, so that we are mentioning, that is the width, we can say that, and height is the total height of all this text. Clear? So this is all about that how we can set this screen. Now we will run this program. So again I will use Java C. Okay, so I will run this program. I think I haven't saved this program. Oh, the one thing I missed over here is that when I am defining this particular component part, okay, so I am using this in this particular method, I am defining all my components part. So what I need to do, I need to call these components also. Okay, तो मुझे क्या चाहिए? I need to call these components also in my main method. So you can see over here that I am using this particular part like f1 dot component. So f1 dot component. my name is Kampo. N is there? Yes, Kampo. Okay, now I just run this program. Okay, so this is your screen. Now this thing will help you when you will make your project. Okay, student, if I miss something, I just recall all those things. Let's suppose I make all everything this as a comment. Okay, so I need to tell you that when you will define this particular part only, okay, so your output will be displayed or not, because I haven't used that function part in my main method. So again I just refer to this particular part, that is like this java c. So I make everything as a comment, because earlier also I was telling you that if I we will directly mention this particular part, if I define this, so what will happen? Will this in that screen nothing is visible again? Okay, so again if I use only this set layout and I don't refer this bounds method over here, okay, again you can see that nothing will be displayed. Still you cannot see anything. Clear? And if I use this part particularly, okay, then only I can see that screen. Okay, तो ये हमने already करके देख लिया. Once again I can show you. So this part will help you. Okay, when you are using your screen portion, when you will make your project part, so this will be helping you in that case. Okay, to make that concept of a swings portion. Okay, so this will help you. So swings will help you make the front end of your project or a program. Clear? So now what we are left with, that when I will click this, what will happen? हमें ये तो पता चल गया, वैल्यू ये कर लेगा, सारा कुछ रिसीव कर लेगा. Like let's suppose I am giving this value 11 over here. So when I am adding here, nothing is happening. Why so? This thing we will discuss through the concept of event handling, which will be the part of my next class. Clear? So I just wanted to complete that event handling in this particular lecture only, but I thought that this is the main screen, so I should explain you step by step that why we require all those things, that so that while making your projects it will help you out. Clear? So in the next part we will see that how this values will come, what will happening action, which file will be called, how we can use, which class will interface in this particular case. So we will discuss in the next part. I hope you are clear with today's lecture, and you are quite if I am not wrong anywhere, so you are quite satisfied with this particular topic of swings. So can you raise your hand so that it just give me a feedback that you all were listening to me and the topic was quite informative. So thank you, students. Thank you for patience listening. Okay, one thing more I need to discuss with you. So earlier also Abhinav called me yesterday. In that particular case, we have discussed regarding the projects part. So I have informed him that you can make your projects by your own. If you require some suggestions from me, you can call me personally. Oh, and a group of four to five students are okay. Okay, and you just make your projects according to your choice, and you will be using this concept of swings or database. Okay, otherwise we have a concept of gaming also. So we are on this swings portion. Shortly we will be discussing that database part also. So you can have that management type projects like simple data you can show us, or any project. I will not force you to go for that management process on anything that you in which you can use this concept of a swings and databases. Okay, so you can develop that particular. Today is 26. By 30th of this, or we can say that by this week, Abhinav, Abhinav is there. So Abhinav or Ami, yes, Amin, any problem?
नो मैम, मैम पहले से रेज किया हुआ था।
अच्छा ठीक है अभिनव you kindly
Yes,
ask your classmates according about your projects and their groups also, and you just give me the list within 2 3 days. Okay.
okay, ma'am.
Okay, so this is up to you. I don't want to just limit your thinking to my projects only. So you just think upon that on which particular part you can work upon, and you will be using all those concepts that we have discussed in the class. Clear? So thank you very much. Thank you for your patience listening. I will be sharing with you all those this content related to this topic. And still, if you miss something or if some doubt has been there in your mind, you can discuss with me anytime. Okay. Thank you, students. Thank you very much.